Just beneath the Mount Rubidoux Cross is the Evergreen Cemetery. Today we're going to check out the Evergreen Cemetery, show you some interesting tombs, and show you what this 1800 cemetery looks like today. Here at the Evergreen Cemetery, the oldest cemetery in Riverside. Down here is the River Tilden Coil Constructors Plaza, but these tunnels right here are kind of cool. These tunnels go to the mortuary downtown over by the courthouse. And back in the day, they would put bodies down here while they were waiting funerals so that you could have your funeral party. But you can see, like, it's been cemented in, so like the tunnel is no longer there. But it used to have a tunnel all the way to the mortuary services on the other end. Found a Chinese grave here. Unfortunately, I can't read it, but I could probably Google translate this old section of the cemetery. Some of the tombstones can get very decorative. Like this is very Art Nouveau from 1914. A lot different than the newer section where it's all flat. You have a lot of interesting. What does it say? Woodman of the World Memorial. Okay, Mr. Hagel, William S. Hagel. Laura is in this tombstone, but she's also in this tombstone over here. Oh, this must have been her husband. But they didn't give her another here. They just added 4 here.
Well, Harriet lived a nice long life. She lived till she was 81-ish.
Harriet was the hey.
She was hey.
Yeah. Lived a long time. Very interesting. Yeah, this is GAR. What does GAR stand for?
A Grand something Republic.
Army of the Republic.
So these are Civil War veterans.
Yeah, it says who gave their lives for the Union from 1861 to 1865. So this is a Civil War memorial site.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're buried here. They're with the Wisconsin Inventory.
For some reason, like, they moved here to Riverside, I guess. That's very interesting.
But they didn't give their lives in the war. They would have been buried at the battlefield,
Yeah, no.
But they were...
Well, you can see, like, that guy over there, he died in 1924.
Yeah, they're veterans.
Yeah, they're veterans who died here.
Yeah, they were willing. They went and gave their time, willing to sacrifice their lives. That makes more sense for California.
Yeah, and over there, that guy died in 1928.
Yeah.
And
2nd.
Yeah.
Illinois.
That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
That was a baby, Cameron Christine Idler. Lived only 1 day. This one is just basically a rock. W.W. Poole. Whoever that was. Well, very memorable tombstone there. Here's the Browns. And they were obviously with the Elk Club. And it says 11 o'clock on it. Wonder what that means. The 11th hour. They're waiting for the last hour, I guess.
Wait, there's another flag.
Oh, yeah, it's another woodsman one. Dumtala Lamont. Don't know what that means. There was a general here. That's very interesting.
No, their last name is Gatliff.
Yeah, but
1858. He was probably named after President Jackson. His mom probably literally named him General first name, Jackson middle name, Gatliff last name.
Oh, that's probably what it was.
1858 is a good time
to do that.
To
Yeah.
Yeah. The Woodman of the World.
Yeah.
But
this one, Ross, is pretty cool looking.
Yeah, plume. And behind we have Inez Louise, but the head of whatever it was.
Beloved daughter of something Ross.
Mr. and Mrs. Guy C. Ross.
Oh.
She was only 10.
She was the daughter of these people. Okay, got it.
But she was only 10.
My guess is that's a cat.
Lion? I don't know. Could be a cat.
It's got a tail.
Yeah. Feline. It looks feline. Yeah, there's nothing there.
Or it could be, it's not like a lamb or something.
No,
I think it's a cat.
Yep. But poor Inez just lived till she was 10.
Yep. It says the Doty family over there. I wonder if that's related to Doty from the Doty officer's Doty, who was killed in line of duty. But very interesting there. But he died in the 70s.
Yeah. Those would have been possibly his grandparents.
Parents, yeah.
Possibly.
It says Hope Taylor on it. And it has a bunch of stuff, like somebody was lighting this up recently. So somebody was here recently.
Yep.
They added lights and like this little cross thing.
Yep.
Interesting. Sanders was born in Ireland in 1860 and died in Riverside 1917. Interesting.
And not a wife, but a sister.
This one I think got upgraded. I think this one on the top maybe was the original one. And then they upgraded. I like the gate there. Very nice. This one, another one with a cat. Well, Louise Stamp, born in 1913 and died in 2000. Probably the earliest one we've seen so far.
Something about their daughter.
Mm-hmm. It says remembrance of my daughter. I think I'm in the oldest section of the cemetery right now. You see this one that says William B. Johnson, born 1829, died in 1912. So that's pretty old. I think in this area here is where I'm going to find some of the founders of Riverside. So that's what I'm looking for. This one they had to fix, but this was from 1878. It says Tessia A.H. Guernsey died April 10th, 1879. Obviously, this one, 78, that's like the founding of Riverside, because Riverside was founded in 1870. Obviously, this one was a standing up tombstone, but had to be repaired, and they put it down 3 months and 16 days old. So it was just a baby who died. A lot of the oldest tombs in this section are babies. Here's another one. Well, this is not such baby. This is a daughter. M. Daly died June 14th, 1881. Aged 18 years, 2 months, 23 days. So, yeah, I'm definitely in the oldest section here. Here we have Frank Miller, Master of the Inn. Frank Miller was the person, Frank Augustus Miller was the man who established the Mission Inn in Riverside, which was the first pretty much major tourist attraction for the city of Riverside. He's buried here with his wife and his children. But there he is, Frank A. Miller. There's a big tombstone here for Miller. It says C.A.R. Guessing that's Community of Riverside. It says here, the Mission Inn Hotel. This California Mission style grand hotel originated as a 12-room adobe boarding house and family home in 1876. In 1902, the present building was begun, and over the 30 years, additional wings were added until the hotel was occupied the entirety of one city block in the heart of downtown Riverside. The Mission Inn is now a National Historic Landmark, is the result of the inspiration life's work of one man, Frank Augustus Miller. More than just a bed, board, and bath, Miller created an atmosphere of ambience, of culture and history that featured fine and decorative arts from around the world. This one over here must be a child. Yeah, it has a lamb on it. It says Louis O. Wise died November 27th, 1894, age 7 months and 25 days. And then there's another tomb over here that's empty. Well, it looks like it got destroyed because it's just a rough stone there, so who knows what's there. An interesting one for Horace Simons. I wonder if that's at all to do with the Simons mortuary. I don't know what that block and cylinder means, but it says July 1884 to May 27th, 1887. So G. Earl Simmons was only 3 years old. Another child here. A lot of child burials back then, I guess. A lot of the tombstones here an Evergreen Cemetery had to be repaired like this one. You can see they got knocked down over the years. Now there is an endowment care for this part of the cemetery, but before in the 90s, if you came here, a lot of these tombstones had been knocked over. Here's a trunk of wood tomb over here for it looks like the Boardwells. I wonder if they were also of that woodsman group. Yep, it says here, Doom Takasamar. Here rests a woodsman of the world, M.T. Saunders, born 1874, died 1904. Yeah, the Woodman movement was an insurance company that back in the day, if you paid your insurances and joined their fraternal organization, they would guarantee you a tombstone, most of the time of carved into wood. Now they're known as the Wood Life Company, and they still are an insurance company. And they are kind of a fraternal organization, but not as much as they used to be. Another tombstone from the 1800s that was restored, obviously. Letia, wife of T.S. Whitney, died at Riverside, California, November 18th, 1890, aged 46 years old, 9 months, 9 days. 1890 was not a good year. Sounds like a lot of people got sick that year. What a strange tomb. It just says, here lies Zeke and Albert. No timestamps or anything on it. Zeke is not a very common name, so that's very interesting. And then there's a little tombstone right next to it, probably another child. Says for Andrews, U.S. Navy, USN. So that's interesting. I just found a World War II vet here. Albury J. Bruce, MM2, U.S. Navy, World War II, 1913 to 1970. I don't know what an MM2 is. I'll have to look that up. I guess some sort of Marine or enlisted, but World War II vet and there. Here at this tomb, this is the founder's tomb of Riverside. So this is John North's tomb. He was born in 1855 and died in 1910. And here it says 1850 to 1890. So that must have been father, and then son must have been over there. John North is very important to Riverside in that in 1870 he bought the land that is now Riverside. It used to be an arroyo, and then he bought it in 1870. So this must have been for the 100th year anniversary of this plaque. And this is the original tomb here, which is kind of fading right now. And so, very important people here in Riverside. He was a land speculator, bought the land, and then parceled it out to a community that would eventually be Riverside today. These are just numbered spots. So, obviously we know that there was people buried here, but we don't know. And this just says North on it. Don't know what that means. This says Harista Stanimikov, scientist, inventor. Deca was the best man in the whole world. Innovator, sheer design. Up there, it says on the books, it says engineering, triangular reinforcement, history, laws of physics, concretes technology, mathematics, shear and fatigue, seismic safety. Definitely sounds like the tomb of a geologist or engineer. And then back here it says Dip Engineering, Histic Stammen, devoted son, husband, father, grandfather, engineer, scientist. Okay, there you go. Can't really read the top of it. This tomb obviously fell down and they reestablished it down. Eva Fatima, aged 15 years, 8 months. I think that's a wood chopper's axe, so her parents must have been woodsmen as well. I think I'm getting close to the tombstones that I'm looking for, because this says Livy B. Tibbetts and Blanche E. Tibbetts. And I'm looking for Eliza Tibbetts, who was the founder of she planted the first oranges in 1880 here in Riverside. So I'm looking for that tombstone. So I'm getting close. The tombs of Eliza Tibbetts and Luther C. Tibbetts, who in 1873, according to this tombstone, founded the navel orange industry here in Riverside, California. The story goes that in the 1870s, Eliza Tibbetts bought the first 2 navel orange trees from Brazil and transported them over by ship. Back then, there wasn't a lot of water here. This area is mostly a desert area. There is the Santa Ana River behind us, that's why we're called Riverside, but where she lived, which is now Magnolia and Arlington, actually, she lived on the corner of Central. The last remaining orange tree is on Arlington and Magnolia, but that's not where it was originally planted. Anyways, she would use her dishwater. After she washed her dishes, she would throw the dishwater onto these 2 orange trees, and that's how they grew. One of the orange trees went to the Mission Inn in downtown Riverside, but it didn't do too well there and it died. And the other one, they moved over to the corner of Arlington and Magnolia, and that's where it is today and still thriving. So that's the story of Eliza Tibbetts and Luther Tibbetts, the ones who brought oranges here to Riverside and pretty much the rest of California. And these are the plots of the Jarvis family, most notably John T. Jarvis, whose home is just around the corner from here, actually. Beautiful home. But he is important. He was the 6th mayor of Riverside, but in 1880, when he moved here, he started the packing plants here in Riverside, and that was very important. He came in 1878 and established the packing plants, which would grow the orange industry and make Riverside, back in the 1800s and the early 1900s, the capital of the orange industry, which made Riverside rich. At one point, Riverside was the highest per capita city in the United States, and it was because of John T. Jarvis. The newer section of the cemetery, and as you can see, there's lots of visitors over there in the newer section.
This is the Riverside Mausoleum and was built in 1914 and was supposed to represent an Egyptian tomb, specifically that of King Imhotep. But the guy who built this, his name was Henry Jekyll, was also known for the Spanish Revival style buildings, so you kind of see that influence as well in this building.
This one from Ruth Una Barnes says, "She's fine." And then this person over here had a little poem with stickers. Very touching. Unfortunately, that one's falling apart, whoever it belonged to. Well, it looks like we were successful here in Evergreen Cemetery, discovering Riverside's historic tombs. I hope you enjoyed this journey. If you did, please give this video a like and come by here to Evergreen Cemetery. It's open every day. There's no cost to come in, and you can learn a little bit more about Riverside's history from the 1800s. Thank you for watching. Like this one, Life is a High Adventure, Lear.